Do you think your dog takes your seat just to be cheeky, out of habit, or because they are trying to claim it? Maybe not, because sometimes when your dog steps into the exact place you just left, they are not simply choosing an empty spot. They may be choosing a place that has suddenly become more valuable in a way humans often overlook, and that is what makes this behavior more interesting than it looks. The chair is still the same chair. The couch is still the same couch. But in your dog's world, that place may have changed the moment you got up. Something of you is still there, and that may be exactly what makes it worth choosing. In this video, we are going to look at 6 of the most important reasons your dog may choose your spot and what that behavior may really be saying. This video is not going to follow the old idea that your dog takes your seat because they are trying to dominate you or act like the boss. Instead, we are going to look at this behavior through the way dogs actually experience the world. Through scent, through warmth, through familiarity, through safety, and through patterns they have learned over time. Across 6 key possibilities, we will explore what your dog may be responding to in that moment, from the immediate pull of your scent and body heat to the deeper comfort of a place that feels familiar, reassuring, and connected to you. And when you put those layers together, something starts to become clear. Your spot may not mean much to your dog because it belongs to you in a human sense. It may matter because your presence has changed the value of that place in a way your dog can feel immediately. 1. Sometimes your dog chooses your spot for the simplest and strongest reason. It smells the most like you. If we start anywhere, it should be here. Dogs do not experience a place the way you do. You may see a chair, a cushion, or one side of the couch. Your dog experiences something much richer. A place can carry layers of information through scent, and the spot you just left is often the place where your scent is strongest in that moment. Your clothes were there, your skin was there, your body heat was there. The way you sit, move, and linger leaves behind a kind of scent picture that is far more vivid to your dog than most people realize. And for your dog, that is not a small thing. A place that smells strongly like you can feel more meaningful, more interesting, and more reassuring than another empty spot nearby. Not because your dog is thinking, this is my human's chair, so I will take it, but because that spot contains the clearest trace of the person who matters most in their daily world. In that sense, your dog may not be choosing the seat itself. They may be choosing the version of you that is still there. That is what makes this behavior feel so personal once you understand it. Your dog is moving toward what is most familiar in the language they trust most, and that language is scent. So if your dog slips into your place the moment you get up, the first explanation is often the most natural one. That spot has become the strongest pocket of you in the room, and your dog is drawn to it because it feels rich with information, familiarity, and presence. 2, sometimes your dog chooses your seat for a much simpler reason. It feels good right now. Not every choice your dog makes is symbolic. Sometimes it is physical, immediate, practical. When you stand up, you do not just leave scent behind, you leave warmth. And for many dogs, that matters a lot more than people think. A spot that was just holding your body can become the softest, warmest, most comfortable place in the room for the next few minutes. And dogs notice that instantly. They do not need to build a deep emotional meaning around it for the choice to make sense. If the cushion is warm, the fabric is soft, and the space feels settled, your seat may simply become the best place for a body to land in that moment. That is especially true for dogs who love cozy surfaces, seek out warm patches of sunlight, burrow into blankets, or always seem to find the softest place in the house before anyone else does. For those dogs, your seat may be appealing for the same reason a warm bed is appealing. It is not just your place. It is now the most comfortable place. And that detail matters because it keeps us from over-explaining every behavior. Sometimes your dog is not making a statement about attachment, power, or emotion. Sometimes they are just responding honestly to comfort. The seat is warm, the seat is soft, the seat feels good. So they take it. That does not make the behavior meaningless. It just means the meaning may begin in the body before it reaches anything deeper. So if your dog slides into your spot the second you get up, one very real answer may be the most straightforward one of all. Your body just made that place more comfortable, and your dog noticed before anyone else did. 3, sometimes your dog chooses your spot because it has become more than a place. It has become a point of stability. Not every attraction to your seat is about what is there in the moment. Sometimes it is about what that place has come to mean over time. There are spots in a home that slowly gather more than scent or warmth. They gather pattern, repetition, familiarity, the rhythm of daily life. And your place may become one of those spots for your dog, not because it is physically better every single time, but because it has been connected again and again with moments that feel normal, safe, and settled. Maybe that is the chair where you drink your coffee every morning. Maybe it is the corner of the couch where you sit every evening. Maybe it is the place your dog has seen you relax, read, work, laugh, rest, and simply be present without tension. Over time, that matters, because dogs do not only learn people, they also learn places through the emotional pattern attached to them. A spot can become meaningful not just because of what it feels like right now, but because of what usually happens there. And if your seat has been part of the calm, familiar structure of the home for long enough, your dog may come to experience it as a small anchor inside the house. That changes the behavior in an important way. Your dog may not be choosing the seat because it is warm right now. They may be choosing it because that place has become easy to trust. Their body already knows it. Their nervous system has met it before. It belongs to a version of the home that feels readable and steady. And that kind of comfort runs deeper than simple convenience. So when your dog moves into your spot, sometimes what they are seeking is not just softness or heat. Sometimes they are moving toward a place that has quietly become one of the most familiar and regulating points in their world. 4, sometimes your dog is trying to stay close to you through what you just left behind. This is where the behavior becomes more emotional, but it still does not need to be exaggerated into something dramatic. Sometimes your dog cannot stay in your lap, keep you in the chair, or follow you into the exact moment you just left. But they can move into the place where your presence is still strongest. And that can matter, because for some dogs, your seat is not just familiar. It feels close to you in a more immediate way than the rest of the room. Not because you are still physically there, but because something of you still is. Your scent, your warmth, the shape of where you were, the fresh trace of your presence before the room fully resets around your absence. That is what can make the behavior feel quietly touching once you see it clearly. Your dog may not be trying to possess your spot. They may be choosing the nearest version of being with you that is still available after you move away. This does not always mean deep longing or dramatic attachment. It does not need to be turned into a sad story. Sometimes it is much simpler than that. Nearness still matters, even in a softened form, and the place you just left may feel less empty to your dog than it does to you. That is why a dog may ignore several other open places in the room and go straight to yours. Not because the chair itself is magical, but because in that moment it is the one place that still feels the most like you. So sometimes when your dog takes your seat, what they may be saying is not, "I want your place." It may be something quieter than that. "I want to stay close to what still feels like you." 5, for some dogs, taking your seat is simply a habit that makes perfect sense to them. Not every behavior needs a deep emotional meaning in order to be real. Sometimes the simplest answer is the most accurate one. Your dog takes your seat because, over time, that seat has repeatedly turned out to be one of the best places to be. It is soft, it is warm, it is familiar, it is often in the center of the room. It may offer a good view. And perhaps most importantly, it tends to become available at exactly the moment it is most appealing. That kind of pattern does not go unnoticed by a dog. If the same place keeps offering comfort, information, and good timing, your dog learns something very practical. This is a good spot. And once a dog learns that, the behavior can become automatic. You stand up, they move in. Not because they are making a statement every time, but because experience has taught them that this choice usually pays off. That is what makes this explanation important. It keeps us honest. Sometimes your dog is drawn to your seat because of scent, sometimes because of warmth, sometimes because it feels close to you. But sometimes the behavior continues for a much simpler reason. It has worked well enough, often enough, to become routine. And routine has power in a dog's life. Dogs are constantly learning from repeated outcomes. If a place keeps feeling good, keeps being safe, and keeps offering comfort with no downside, the brain starts treating it as an easy answer. No symbolism required, no secret message necessary, just a habit built from many small experiences that all pointed in the same direction. So when your dog slips into your seat again and again, it may not always be a deeply emotional act. Sometimes it is just a well-learned choice, a comfortable habit, a predictable move toward a place that has proven itself worth choosing. 6. What this behavior often means most is this. Your presence has changed the value of that place in your dog's world. By now, all the separate pieces start to come together. The seat is not just a seat anymore. Not once it carries your scent. Not once it holds your warmth. Not once it has become part of a familiar rhythm. Not once your dog has learned over time that this place feels better, calmer, or closer to you than the others around it. That is why this behavior is so often misunderstood. From a human point of view, it can look like your dog is taking something that belongs to you. But from your dog's point of view, they may be moving toward a place that your presence has already changed. A place that now feels more comforting, more readable, more familiar, or simply more worth choosing than it was a moment ago. And that shift matters, because it tells you something subtle but important about how dogs experience space. They do not always value a place for the same reason humans do. They are not thinking about ownership in the way people often imagine. They are responding to what a place feels like, what it carries, and what it has come to mean. So when your dog chooses your spot, the deeper message is often not "I want your seat." It is closer to this. This place feels better because it still feels like you. That is what makes the moment feel bigger once you understand it. Your presence does not only affect your dog directly, sometimes it changes the emotional value of the spaces you move through. A chair, a cushion, a corner of the bed, a place on the couch. In your eyes, it is just furniture. In your dog's experience, it can become a pocket of comfort shaped by you. So if you want the simplest way to understand the behavior, it may be this. Your dog is not necessarily trying to take your place. They may be choosing a place that your presence has made more special than the rest. Your dog may not care about the chair in the way you think they do. What may matter far more is what that chair is still holding. Your scent, your warmth, your familiarity, or simply the kind of comfort that place has come to offer again and again. That is why this behavior is so easy to misunderstand when you look at it through human logic. You see, my dog took my spot, but your dog may be experiencing something very different, a place that has just become more appealing because so much of you is still there. And maybe that is the most meaningful part of all. Your dog is not always choosing furniture. Sometimes they are choosing closeness, sometimes comfort, sometimes familiarity, sometimes the quietest version of being near you that is still available. So the next time your dog curls up in the exact place you just left, do not stop at the thought that they are stealing your seat. Ask something better. What is it about this place right now that feels more valuable to my dog than any other place in the room? Because once you start asking that question, the behavior begins to look less like a challenge and more like a small window into what your dog finds comforting, familiar, and worth moving toward.